Hi there, I'm Kathy Barker from Software Solutions, and I want to have a look at Microsoft Word, and I want to look at it in terms of a newsletter or a flyer. I've had a question about inserting a picture into a Word document and getting the text to tightly, like extremely tightly wrap around it, not just the normal tight text wrap, maybe straight on one side and tight on the other. And also getting a picture to remove its background so it blends in with a page color. I've also been asked about a map and actually putting objects on a map, such as arrows and text boxes. So rather than explain that, that sort of desktop publishing stuff is always easier to show you. So I'm in Microsoft Word and I've got a blank document. First thing I want to do is double click the grey part of the ruler and cut the margins down to 2 centimetres. So 2, tab, 2, tab, 2, tab, 2 and enter. And that's the quickest way to set up your page setup, is just double clicking the grey part of the ruler. Now what I want to do is change the page color. So if I go to design in the ribbon, on the far right hand side I've got page color and I'm looking for, say, a yellow of some sort. So I just roll over the palette and choose a color. I also would like page borders, so I'm going to choose a double line and it's a box and the whole document and OK. So it puts a double line border around the entire document. Now to generate some dummy text until such time as I get real text, I'll type equals lorem, open bracket, and I'll say how many paragraphs I'm after. I'd like 20 paragraphs, comma, with 5 sentences in each. Oops, 5. Close bracket and press enter. And so that has generated my text. Now I'm ready to put my picture in. So I'm going to go and use some of the pictures I'm allowed to use by going insert, pictures, online pictures. Now this tick box that says, oh well, let me just search a category. Let's go for, say, friends. This tick box that says Creative Commons means that you're allowed to use these pictures without fear of copyright retribution in your business documents, as long as you don't on-sell or make a profit from those pictures. So with that in mind, I'm now going to just look for something that is close to what I'm after. And I might just, I don't want something too complicated because that will take too long to demonstrate. So let's say I would like to choose this here and insert. And I'm hoping it's going to come in with a white background. Here it is here. So this is the issue that she's presenting. She wants to get rid of this white background so that the picture actually blends in with the page color. When you bring a picture in and you click it, you do get picture format up in the ribbon. And on the hard left-hand side is a remove backgrounds button. So I'm going to click that. Now anything that currently shows in here as magenta means that it will be removed. So I want the background removed, that's great, but I don't want some of these parts of the picture to be removed. So I'm going to start by marking areas I want to keep. I click this button here, and I could just click this pencil, but I'm actually going to drag when the areas are larger. So I'm going to drag along here to indicate I want to keep that, and drag along here to indicate I want to keep that, and drag along here to indicate I want to keep that bit. Over here I'll drag down and say I want to keep that part of the picture and this bit as well. And then these little bits at the bottom here I also want to keep. So that there is pretty much the picture I want to keep minus the background. So all I do now is say keep the changes. And there I am left with a picture, but some of the black has actually disappeared around my fruit. So let's go back into remove background. What I need to do now is mark areas I want to keep around the edge. So I'm just going to click the dot. I'm just going to dot click around the edges, and that should let me keep the black lines. And I'm just going to click along here. And with the colors I've chosen, it's not easy, but I'm going to go keep changes and see what I've got. Okay, so I'm still missing the bottom of both pictures. So remove background, click at the bottom, oops, areas to keep, click at the bottom, this sort of stuff. I might even drag. It can be very fiddly. That looks better. I might keep the changes and see what that looks like. So I've got my bottom back. Now I'm just missing the tops of these two magenta leaves. So I'm going to go remove background again And I'm just going to mark areas to keep, and I'm just going to sort of draw slightly over that top bit there. Keep changes and see what I've got. There, I'm happy. It is a bit of work, but if you want it, that's the best way to do it, is to remove the backgrounds using that button there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize my picture. I could drag the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, or I could go straight up to width here and just click on the 17 centimeters and just put 4 and enter. So now my picture is 4 centimeters wide, which has immediately affected the height because it doesn't want to distort it. If I now have made it small enough for me to manage, I can drag it a little bit and decide, right, that's the size I want there. Now let's look at wrapping. When it comes to wrapping text and being able to move a picture easily, you have to hit this button. It's almost like a rite of passage. As soon as you bring a picture in, you've really got to decide what the layout is. Now, at the moment, it's in line with text, which makes the picture really stubborn in terms of trying to drag it. So I'm going to change it to square or even tight. If I go tight, the words now wrap tightly around that picture. Let's look at what square looks like. So square is more like that, and tight is more like that. So we've got the text wrapping tightly around the picture, but not tight enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm now going to go up to the wrap text button in the ribbon. And that has an extra option called edit wrap points. And if I click that, I can now drag this line, this red line in closer to the picture, which makes the text come in closer to the picture. And if I push it out, it makes it go further away. So some people would like to actually have it that it's straight on one side. So let's wrap the text, edit wrap points, and push the text away from the left-hand side, like that. And even straighten that out and lift that up. So now it's sort of straight across the bottom, straight along the left-hand side, straight along the top, so that the text is wrapping straight across there, and even higher still. And yet when it comes to the right-hand side of the picture, we want the text to be really close. I'm going to bring it in, and not too far that I can't read it. So it's time consuming, but that's sort of what desktop publishing stuff is like. It's time consuming. All right, so there we have the text wrapping tightly around the right hand side, but not around the left hand side. And if I click away from the picture, that's exactly what I've got going on here. So I hope that sheds some light onto how you bring a picture in, how you get rid of the background, and how you manipulate the text wrapping. Now the other question I had was bringing in a map. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dive off to Google, and I might go to Google Maps and I'll just bring it into view. So I'll come over to here. Now here is a map, for example, and let's say I go to my snipping tool, or snip and sketch would be better. So I'm going to search for snip, and there is my snip and sketch. Where's my snip and sketch? Oh, I haven't got it on this machine. So I choose snipping tool, I'll go new, and I'm going to grab part of this map. In fact, I think I'll grab this area here. Now I want to put that, it is my snipping sketch, so I'm going to put a copy of that so I can go straight in. Let me just get rid of my ruler. I'm going to put a copy of that straight into my Word document, so maybe here. So I'll just paste, and there it is there. Now what we want to do is add some arrows on top of this. So that's when we go to Insert, and we go to Shapes. And you can have some plain arrows like this, thin arrows. Or you can have, if I go back to Insert and Shapes, more sort of like block arrows. So I could choose that one there, for example. And I can easily twist it just by grabbing the green antenna and move it. And if I want to add text, I would probably go to Insert and grab a text box. And I draw a text box. And I'd simply say this way to whatever. Now with the text box, a lot of people ask, how do I get rid of the line around the outside of the text box and the fill color? with the text box chosen, let me just save this document actually, file, info, because I need to convert it to the latest version. Here we go. With this text box chosen, what you can do is influence the shape fill. The shape fill, we basically want no fill. So now it hasn't got a white background, its fill is no fill, and it's blending in to whatever happens. So even if I put it up here, it's blending into whatever it happens to be sitting on. So I'll pop that there. And the other thing I want to do is get rid of the line around the outside of it. So I click on it, and instead of fill, I go to shape outline, and I'll say no outline. And so that effectively has got rid of the outline around the outside and got rid of the fill color on that text box. So that is inserting a map. I would use the snipping tool and then overlaying shapes or text boxes on top of that map. I hope that's been helpful. Take care. Bye bye.